Hello and welcome to another episode of the Driven Shot podcast. My name is Peter Monema, also known as Barça DNA on Twitter, and today will be the match review between FC Barcelona and Vissel Kobe. Barcelona begin their preseason with a 3-1 win in Japan. Debut goals for Rooney Bardghji and for Pedro Fernandez, a debut for Joan Garcia as well, Marcus Rashford. So many talking points, so many things to get stuck into, and so without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so coming into this game, obviously there was lots of excitement and joy before Barca were to kick off their preseason. There were, of course, a few snags along the way when it came to organizing this trip, especially to Japan, but it was done. The players did arrive just about, I think, 24 hours or so ago, did some training before, and came into this game. It was a really good sort of first lineup there from Hansi Flick to see some players just getting a chance to make their debut, especially Joan Garcia in the first half. That was the main talking point there. Him getting a chance to wear the Barca #1 jersey in goal there. Seeing the team return as well after a few months out was very, very nice. And really, in this first half, the game itself kind of felt like obviously a preseason match. I think in the first half, the players were noticeably a bit off the pace. I think the heat in Japan was really, really strong. I think there were cooling breaks there twice in this match. And also, I think as well for the players, maybe a bit of jet lag or a bit of fatigue coming in, of course, to start off preseason. And Vissel Kobe, it's important to note, they are midway through their season. So their players were much more sharp, especially in the first half than we were. But overall, I thought Barca, for the most part, managed the game well, tried their best to keep the ball, tried to create a few openings here and there. It wasn't really as fluid there in the first half. But notable displays I thought from players who did well would be one, Joan Garcia. I thought he was great between the sticks, not only in terms of the saves that he did make, but I think he gave a very good presence there to the back line, a very good commanding, sort of aura about him there in goal. I thought he did very, very well. His passing was good as well. And so it's a good debut for him. And of course, there's lots of excitement surrounding a new goalkeeper at the helm, especially as a starter. And so there's plenty more to look forward to with Joan Garcia, and I'm more than confident that we will see much more of him across the tour as we get closer and closer to the start of the season. Of course, as well, I do want to give a shout out to the likes of Pedri and Gavi. I'm really, really happy for these two, especially for Gavi in particular, because I think for him, this season is going to be very important, given that last season he spent a lot of time recovering and trying to recapture his best level and find a role for himself in this team. It was really good to see that in this game, Flick gave him a deeper role, which we've seen Flick do with Gavi towards the tail end of last season, where he was given a role to really take more part in the build-up, to facilitate play there, to link up with Pedri, to be a bit more of a dictator, more of a controller. And I thought today he looked really, really good alongside Pedri, who I thought for me was phenomenal, for me the best player on the pitch in the first half. I think for a team that just came back into their first preseason match, you could tell that there was rust. You could tell that players were, getting up to speed. But with Pedri, he just looked natural. He just came in and it looked as if he hadn't taken a break at all. His touches were phenomenal. His little turns were beautiful. His passing was very good. He just seemed to be a step above everybody else when it came to his conditioning. Shout out to Eric Garcia as well, obviously, who played in this match, did score the goal in the first half there on the 33rd minute. Of course, ball played in from Fermin Lopez, a few deflections there, Gavi getting involved, the ball kind of breaks loose, and Eric Garcia really just kind of bundles the ball home in the end, scores yet again against Vissel Kobe. Seems to like playing against them in preseason. But overall for Barca in the first half, it wasn't anything too impressive, nothing to really write home about. But again, if the first game of preseason, you expect there to be a bit of rust there as players kick off, the campaign. And so overall, I thought for me, Barcelona first half, not bad. And to go in, at 1-1 wasn't something to be upset about. And second half was great. I mean, we saw lots of changes as you would expect. What I didn't expect was to see Marcus Rashford play right from the start of the second half. My thought was that he would get maybe 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of the game. But no, Flick was adamant. He wanted to give him a good chance there to go out there on the pitch and play, and thought he did very well. Also very pleased to see the debut, of course, of Bardghji, to see most of the Barca players coming back to small. Lewandowski getting into the lineup there, seeing Araujo, Christensen, Joffrey Torrens getting to play. Well, that was really, really good to see from the start. And then, of course, other players that we'll talk about in a minute's time. But I thought for me, the team in the second half was very, very good. I thought Casado and Frankie de Jong really bolstered Barca's midfield. I thought we kept the ball much better. Our movement on the ball was good. The team looked sharper, I think, coming into the second half than we did in the first half there, which I'm not too surprised by. I think in preseason, you expect this sort of thing to happen as teams make adjustments and changes. And so Barca really, I think, looked better. They moved the ball better. They got into more dangerous positions. And of course, we come on to eventually the goal that we saw from Barcelona. I have to say, from Marcus Rashford, he was very sharp, I think, for me on his debut. Not, too crazy, but I think very good with the ball at his feet. Looked to make things happen, was very direct, tried to really go at his opponent, which I really appreciated. And I think for me, Barca in the end came through and got stronger and stronger as the half progressed. And coming on to the goal now in the 77th minute, I mean, this was just beautiful. I mean, it's great play, first of all, from Marcus Rashford. He passed into, I believe it was it Daniel Olmo or Lewandowski, one of the two there, who the pass was played into. I think it was Lewandowski, who did really, really well here to take the ball, control it there, get it under his feet. And also very, very unselfish play as well. Doesn't try to go for goal himself, doesn't try to force anything. He just kind of calms down, looks for the pass. He finds Bardghji. And I have to say, Bardghji is someone who I'm really, really happy for on a personal note, because I think his signing for me this summer really did go under the radar. For a player of his talents, and not many people were actively talking about him and really expecting big things from him. There were even a few rumors of, could he be signed and then right away be sent out on loan? Could he leave the club right away? Would he impress? And also as well, what level would he play at? Because keep in mind, if he'd stayed with Barca Athletic, he'd be playing in the 4th division of Spanish football, which would not have been good for his development. And so really with Bardghji, there was a need for him to impress in this tour, to make a very good first impression. And what I loved so far about him is that since he's arrived, really in preseason, he's made a very good impression on Hansi Flick, who's loved what he's seen in training. But in a game like this, I loved the maturity of Bardghji. He really didn't try to do too much. He didn't try to be too fancy. He just played with a level head. He was calm. He was fluid. He didn't try to rush things. He picked his moments there, made simple passes as well, took on his opponent when he had to. Really just showed really an air of maturity and calmness about his game. Really good there in tight areas, good dribbling as well. And overall, I think he really set himself up for success in this match. And eventually, being patient, being calm, playing with a level head usually means you do get a moment in the game to shine. It means when you do the right things, mentally, something clicks for you, and eventually you get your moment to shine. That's exactly what happened on the 77th minute. Lewandowski there turns, picks out the pass, and what a goal by Bardghji. A really, really good moment for him. I was so happy to see not only him score, but the celebration, the joy on his face. It was just so, so delightful. And for him, personally, it's a big milestone, of course, even in preseason, your first Barca goal. I'm sure it's one he'll never forget. And I hope that the goal gives him confidence, gives him zeal, and can power him forward there into preseason even more, and can allow him to really make the first impression on Hansi Flick and secure his place in the first team as well. Then we move on to another very, very special player, Pedro Fernandez, also known as Dro. What a performance. What a cameo from Dro. He was absolutely brilliant. I mean, this kid came on and he had the last sort of 10, 15 minutes there coming on from Marcus Rashford, and you would have thought that he was playing the whole 45 minutes. He was really, really good. I mean, he was so incisive there with his play. He was, again, calm on the ball, similar there to Bardghji. Very, very good, very smart with his touches there. Very skillful as well. The technical ability on this kid to weave between 2, 3, 4 players at a time was really, really good to see. And again, I love that a player on his debut isn't trying to be flashy for the sake of being flashy, but he's just trying to be smart and opening up channels there, looking for passes, making things happen. And I love the fact that he's got a very good skill set to him, Drill, to where he can play not only on the touchline in wider areas, take on his man there, really stretch the opponents there, got a good bit of pace about him, but he's also really, really good in central positions there, finding space in between the lines there, drifting, almost at times playing as a number 8/number 10, really finding grooves and zones in the pitch to have an influence. Which is why, despite being on the pitch really for only 15 to or 20 minutes, it felt like he was on the pitch for much longer because he was constantly involved. He was searching for the ball. He wasn't shy about receiving it. He wasn't shy about having a man on his back, pressing him there. He was able to pull off little passes, touches there to relieve pressure. It was just really, really, really good from such a young player, 17 years old, tremendous talent. And of course, we move on to his goal here. And I have to say this, I had a massive smile on my face when he scored. It was just so surreal to see because it's not an ordinary goal. This is a really, really astute finish there from the 17-year-old. The ball kind of pops up in the air, falls to him at the edge of the box. Once again, it's very, very good to see him finding space, finding positions in central areas. That in itself is very, very good for a young talent to show how smart he is and knowing where to show up and where to find pockets of space to receive the ball. But this finish, it's just phenomenal. It's a really, really mature, very good strike there. He doesn't rush. He doesn't lash at it. It's very, very easy, to see the ball coming down, your eyes light up, the goal lights up, and you just kind of hit the ball too hard, or you rash, you missed a shot, you scuff it, you pull it wide. But no, there was no doubt in his mind. It was as if the ball came down and you knew he was going to score. He just came onto it. Very good hit into the ground, into the corner. Tremendous finish. It's Barca 3, Vissel Kobe 1. And really, it leads Barca now into a 3-1 win for the first game of preseason. I'm sure Hansi Flick will be very, very impressed there with his squad as well. I do want to give a shout out to João Feitorense as well, who I thought had a very good cameo there off the bench playing as a left back. Of course, he will be fighting with Gerard Martin to see which one of them can really impress Hansi Flick and nail that down a spot in the first to the as the backup to Alejandro Balde. But I have to say, from João Feitorense, it was a very, very good game from him. I thought he did very, very well. He also impressed in his cameo as well off the bench. And so really good for Barcelona to kick off preseason with a win, with a victory, playing well, of course. And now the next game will be against FC Seoul coming up in South Korea. And so I will see you then for more coverage, more videos to talk about this team, see if other players can play as well. Perhaps minutes for Tony Fernandez, Guille, even Hector Ford. We'll see what happens. But going forward, this was a really, really good game. Barcelona winning their first game of the season, winning their first game of preseason, and hopefully now can carry this momentum forward into the rest of the upcoming games in South Korea. So, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for watching. It's been a tremendous honor to be with you today. And until I will see you next time, take care and Visca Barça.